time for the latest from the Herald's Media Insider column and editor at large, Shayne Currie. And we start the week with John Campbell's return to RNZ. Yeah, what do you make of this?
Morning, Michael. Yeah, big news announced yesterday. Quite a bit of a rushed announcement, actually. Partly because there had been, as I report in the Media Insider column today, some discussions at RNZ board level just about the appointment. So John Campbell returns to RNZ. He will be the Morning Report co-host based in Auckland sometime next year. They haven't announced a start date yet. Now, the discussions at board level are interesting. The board doesn't have the ultimate say on who becomes the Morning Report co-host or any of those other talent roles, but it certainly can have an influence, and it certainly, as my sources have told me this morning, has had strong words to management just to make sure that the process is robust, that John is the right person for the job. And that's based on some concerns at board level, just about some of his previous comments and opinions that have been expressed in his columns, for instance, at TVNZ at the moment.
You're talking about politics?
Politics specifically. And of course, as we head into election year, RNZ as the public broadcaster needs to ensure that its hosts, that its journalists, like all of us, are presenting news in a fair and balanced way.
But I mean, overall, landing JC for the flagship Morning Report show, it's a bit of a coup, isn't it?
Big name, yeah.
He's very popular.
Very popular.
Nice guy to have in the office too.
Yeah, and he's actually, I spoke to a couple of TVNZ sources yesterday, and they talked to me about just his manner around the TVNZ newsroom and the morale that he does lift in that environment. He is, like a lot of broadcasters in that radio space, I've cited him and Mike Hosking today, the popular ones are actually very polarising. You love or you hate them, and that is actually quite important. You know, you draw a loyal audience, but you also spark debate, and certainly both Hosking and Campbell fit into those categories.
And you've been at court this week with another TVNZ defamation trial.
Yeah, this is
not the Tallies versus Thomas.
No, TVNZ's had a big year in the courts. They had a great win in the Tallies case on Wednesday. That came through. But for the last 4 days, they've actually been in the Auckland District Court for a defamation case brought against them by Julian Batchelor, who's the anti-co-governance campaigner. And it stems from a pamphlet that Batchelor distributed back in 2023 and a story that TVNZ had written from that. It was quite a crazy, wild court case at times, civil court case. It's been funded by NZME shareholder and director Jim Grennan. Julian Batchelor's got his financial support, so that's an interesting angle that emerged in court. But we also had some very interesting witnesses, including former TVNZ host Peter Williams, who actually appeared as an expert witness on behalf of Batchelor to talk about the process of journalism and how stories get to come on to air and just the process to interviewing subjects.
Well, it's been another pretty big year in the media industry overall. Your highs and lows for 2025?
Well, it certainly hasn't quietened down this week, Michael. And I, before coming on air today, I just went through maybe my top 5 stories locally. Obviously, internationally, it's been a huge year for media as well. But topping the list for me this year, in the local environment, was Sky Television's purchase of 3.
Yes.
It was for $1. It was a debt-free deal, and I see amazing things happening next year with that merged company. Second of all, the NZME boardroom coup, or leadership change, if you like, led by Jim Grennan, who we mentioned earlier, along with a couple of other activist shareholders. But that really did take up a lot of column inches and space in the media kind of world earlier in the year. That's calmed down a lot now, and we're here today on a new product, a new platform that launched not so long ago. So Herald NOW is really a sign of just, for all the media companies, I guess, where convergence is happening. A couple of other big ones over the course of the year, of course, there's a big battle coming in terms of Sean Plunkett's battle with the Broadcasting Standards Authority and whether it has jurisdiction over his online channel. And the advertising agencies are in for a very interesting consolidation period. I think we've seen the global holding companies come together in the last few months. There's unfortunately been some layoffs in that area, but I think in 2026 we'll see the rise of the independent agencies a lot more spectacularly.
Yeah, a lot more to come on that. We really appreciate your time and analysis, and of course you can go and read Shayne's column this morning, nzherald.co.nz. That is Shayne Currie, Herald Editor at large. Thank you very much for your time.